Welcome to Comic Convo Express. What's going on, everybody? Hi, I'm Pedro, the Marvel fanboy.
And this is Tom, the Cosmic Kid.
And we're the Comic Convo Express. We're here to do some convoing today.
Welcome, baby. Episode 4.
Episode 2 from the X-Men. If you see it on part 1 from live last week, this is episode 2. We are live on Twitch TV/PevGamer. And you can check us out on YouTube. We have our own YouTube channel. And hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of the action. Hit the like and subscribe. We're also on the Patreon too. So, Pev Gamer, what's going on? How you doing?
What we got on deck, man?
That was weird. Good morning, gentlemen. How are both of you?
We are well. Thank you.
That's good. That's good. So, what we're looking at today is episode 4 of our amazing podcast, which is part 2 to our X-Men kind of dive in, I guess you would call it, whatever you want to say. So, we will be doing 6 segments today. Check out all of our amazing setup we have as Pedro models for everything. Tommy, too. Look at that. Look at that. Wolverine. That smile.
It's Wolverine.
Oh, Wolverine. Oh, shit. That's what we were going for. My bad. All right, gentlemen. So for segment 1, we have a top 5. So I want you both to give me your top 5 X-Men teams. This will exclude the Brotherhood of Mutants. So keep it with, X in the name, ideally. Tommy, you'll be going first.
All right, guys. Once again, welcome. I'm going to go from 5 down to 1. I've got X-Force number 1 from 1991, written and drawn by Rob Liefeld. First appearance of the team was actually in New Mutants 100. They actually did 3 issues. They reprinted them. The first one was a blue cover. Second one was a gold cover. And then the third one, the letters were silver. The team consists of Cable as the leader, Cannonball, Boom Boom, Feral, Shatterstar, and Warpath. I really liked that team back in the 90s. They were like really big buzz. And also that issue was polybagged and came with cards too. Remember?
Yes.
Also has the rookie Deadpool card in it. Came with a team card. Came with Shatterstar. Came with Gideon and Sunspot.
Warpath.
And then the Cable card. And then my number 14 was the Chris Claremont era from 1975 to 91. Of course, Chris Claremont, John Byrne, and Terry Austin. That team consists of Cyclops, Marvel Girl, Storm, Colossus, Rogue, Kitty Pryde, Wolverine, Iceman, Angel, Beast, and Banshee. One of my favorite groups of all time. That actually I read the original issues back in Classic X-Men. That got me hooked to go out to buy the original series. Number 3 is X Factor, the original from 1986 to 91. You're looking at Alex Summers, which was actually the leader. On the cover it says, "Because You Demand It." It has a beautiful cover by Walt Simonson. It says, "Because You Demand It." It has Cyclops on the cover. But he actually was the leader back again eventually. But Alex Summer was actually the leader. Now a lot of people realize that. It was Alex Summer, Angel, Beast, Iceman, Jean Grey, and then Cyclops, who eventually got onto them. X-Men number 2 from 1990, which is the blue team. They actually had 2 teams. The stuff that Jim Lee did. It's my favorite group because, of course, it has Wolverine on it. Cyclops, Beast, Gambit, Psylocke, Rogue Wolverine, and Jubilation, which is also known as Jubilee. Of course, they had, like I said, 2 teams. They had a blue...
blue and gold.
Who's on the gold team, P?
The gold team had Storm, Jean Grey, Colossus, Archangel, and Iceman.
Nice. And my number 1, of course, which is the OG 1963, Kirby Stanley Goodness, Professor Xavier, Cyclops, Marvel Girl, Iceman, Beast, and Angel. That's pretty much my top 5. P,
that's an interesting technicality. I like that because, X-Men had the original team with Stan Lee, but then X Factor, when they were launched, it's the same team, just Havoc was thrown in there. My 5 is a little bit similar, but not the same. So let's start with 5. My 5th team is a team called X-Statics. They were formerly X-Force, made by, I think it was Mike Alfred's team, the artist who drew it. X-Statics was a celebrity mutant team. They were trying to get onto YouTube. They were trying to get on Instagram and all that stuff, showing off their powers, and they were playing themselves out to the human world. So it was pretty cool. It was entertaining. Everybody kept dying, so it was always a new team. I like that part. They weren't special. They were just dying, and that's what I liked about them. So that was my 5th.
really quick question for you. Doesn't that sound a hell of a lot like the New Warriors during the early 2000s?
Yes, the second iteration that led to them all dying. Yes, similar, but Ecstatics had no direction. They were every member cared about being famous and how many followers they were having. So
Clout chasing, basically.
it was very basically that's all they were doing.
Yeah, we wouldn't know anything about
We
that.
wouldn't know anything about that. Nudge, nudge. Get your dub on. Anyway, going to number 4 is X Factor, the new team, the second team with Havoc leading the team, not the one you just discussed. It was the government team. Okay. I thought that was very entertaining, where they felt like they were stooges, but they were actually making a difference, with the government. And you also got to see Val Cooper and Havoc getting along, where you see human and mutant relationship through the government. So I thought that was pretty cool to read.
Pete, was that the team from '74? The all new.
Yes, all new.
Strong
Guy, Multiple Man, Wolfbane,
yeah.
Polaris,
like
and Havoc. That was an awesome
really,
team.
Really nice.
Now, this is where we get a little different.
Uh-oh.
Number 3 is the Extreme Team. Extreme X-Men by Chris Claremont and the artist Salvador LaRocca.
Are those wrestlers? Are they extreme?
They were really
They were extreme.
ECW.
ECW.
Yeah, we had to give them props. No, the Extreme Team consisted of Storm, Rogue, Bishop. It was right around the time that the X-Men were wearing the black leather suit. And Chris Claremont managed to get some of the X-Men, and they were policing their own mutants. At the time, District X and Chicago, they had like mutant towns. So they would come in and help them out as much as they can. Plus, they also had to fight off against racism and all the stuff.
Oh, wow.
So I like that run. Salvador LaRocca was an awesome artist. Great. The way he drew these X-Men, he made the women sexier and made the men more beefier. And it also made Sage. Ain't that the truth?
I'm not mad at you, man.
Well, it also made Sage. She was like a computer expert on the team, and she was really good. So, and Bishop was no joke on that. So it was like one of my favorite teams on that.
I like that artist. He's a really great artist.
Salvador LaRocca, he's the man. And working with Chris Claremont. Number 2, I didn't break this down. I put them in one category, X-Force. Just the same team with Cable's team. And then years later, we're talking about like 2 decades later, Wolverine's team. Now, they were both used different, but they were both military. One was, Cable leading his X-Force team, the way you described it, fighting everybody.
Psylocke, and when they had the gray and the black
suits? The gray and black suit was the other X-Force with Wolverine. They were doing the secret op missions. Yeah. And they had, because it's the X-23, Archangel.
That was dope.
It was just like Phantom X. They were just nasty. But I combined both teams together because they were both that nasty.
That's nice. That's cool.
And then the number 1 team, I also did this to you. The blue team and the gold team. Uh-oh. That was number 1.
You merged them?
I had to, because at that time they were together at one point, and they were just split off because of the 2 titles. Yeah. So I, give props to the X-Men in general at that time in the 90s. Nice. So. Honorable mentions real quick. Excalibur from England.
Alan Davis, Chris Claremont. Baby.
Exactly. New Mutants when Bill Sienkiewicz and Chris Claremont worked together on that.
Not the shitty movie.
Kind of, sort of, yes. But we'll get to that later. And the Marauders, the recent team from Krakoa, led by Kitty Pryde. They were on the ship. It felt like you were reading Pirates of the Caribbean, but with mutants. And they were trying to make deals with other countries for Krakoa. So I enjoyed that book with Bishop and all them stuff.
She's a great character.
Yeah, she is. Very much.
Kitty Pryde.
So, there you go.
All right, gentlemen. We're going to move on to segment 2. Segment 2 consists of who, out of all of the X-Men, is your favorite X-Men, and why? Pedro, you're going to start this one off.
Me? Okay. Oh, well, obviously, everybody in the world will agree with me. The best X-Men ever created on the team. First appearance of this guy here.
He's on the fucking screen if you need a bigger one.
He's right there. Thank you. Logan himself, Wolverine. Why? Mutant healing factor. The adamantium claws. He's the best there is of what he does. And sometimes what he does is very nice.
But you have a disagreeer.
No, I believe.
Throw him. Who would disagree?
Red Rum over watching on Twitch.tv. Oh my god, why did I say it like that? Okay. Watching on Twitch, Red Rum said Mystique.
Oh, She's nice.
She was on the X-Men for a short time, but she kept... The reason why she isn't on the team is because she keeps looking out for herself and keeps betraying the team.
Isn't that the mother of Nightcrawler?
Yeah. The mother of Nightcrawler, the stepmother of Rogue, the wife or husband, however you want to describe this, of Destiny recently. So, but Wolverine could kick her ass.
Yeah,
hands down. So why would I even say Mystique is up there? Wolverine is like the pedestal right there.
Let him turn to Berserker Rage. Forget about it, man.
You know,
it's not.
I mean, she's nasty if you send her on a mission. She can blend into anybody and everything.
Yeah, she can shapeshift, but
don't even throw in the technicality. She could turn into Wolverine and take out Wolverine.
No,
her
she
bones
look like him.
She would have claws, but it would mess up with his adamantium. It's not real adamantium, so technically she would fall.
Yeah,
but I still categorize her as a villain, despite how many times she joined the team, and she really didn't do much on the team, so that's why she's not my favorite. And her powers. Her powers could be cool, but so Morph had the same power too.
Yeah, that's why he was on. Guys, if you go back and check our last episode, I talked about Morph. He has all the powers and none of the responsibilities.
And that's basically Mystic. The only difference is she's always up to something. So,
yeah.
Sorry, Red.
It's always something.
But appreciate
good
that.
Question,
that was a good one. I was ready for you.
But
Wolverine's just the coolest character, the oldest character. He's been through a lot, from the Weapon X program to when he first popped his claws back in the 1800s. Being Canadian, which shout out to the Canadians, but he went through a lot of stuff fighting bears and stuff like that. And then being on the team, and he'd always take a beating. He's always getting sliced first. It's like Cyclops sends him first just so they can find out if the villain can hurt anybody.
I kind of think Marvel beats the hell out of Wolverine because he has the healing factor. Because if you notice, a lot of other X-Men, some of them take a hit, but not like Wolverine, man.
I agree.
Through the trenches and...
I mean, we could probably do a whole episode just Wolverine, and we will in future episodes. Yeah. So I'm going to skip to the second best. If that's okay with it. Because everybody's going to agree, except for Red. Everybody agrees Wolverine is the coolest character. So I'm going to go to the second coolest. Gambit. Oh. Hear me out. This is a good argument, but hear me out. He's smooth. He's suave. He's debonair. He's a good thief.
He's good with the ladies.
And he's very open about being a thief. Usually thieves has to try to keep the low profile. He does the low profile, but he don't care if anybody knows. He ain't going to stop him from him stealing. Coolest power to teleconnect with those cards. Now, he can do it with anything. He can take your cell phone, kinetically charge, throw it at you, very smooth. And the kinetic explosion is damaging, hands down. He also knows how to use a stick, which anybody can
Heavy paws. Heavy paws knows how to use a stick.
And he's from New Orleans, so, and with that accent, chicks dig it. Ask Rogue. Yeah. And interesting enough, just like this cartoon, he could be in a relationship with a woman he can't touch. And he's still loyal to her. Not easy for any man in this world to do. Just FYI. Sorry to say. Let's be real. I'm being real. Everybody, guys could disagree with me, but it's the truth. He managed to do it. Respect out for Gambit, and and his power. He's the coolest to me. So hands down.
I would just to be with Rogue. I would lose my power. R.I.P. Who else you got?
Another one for female-wise. Let me represent the females for them for a second. The coolest female X-Men would be Jean Grey.
Oh, there you go.
Now, when she first came into the Marvel Comics, the Stan Lee raid, it was always she's the love interest with the mutant power, telepathic and telekinetic. They tried to treat her like the Invisible Woman, but she ended up being more powerful and more stronger than that. And then the Phoenix Saga happened, and all of a sudden her development of character came in. Her powers amplified. You thought, being a telekinetic and telepathic would be powerful enough. No, with the Phoenix power, it was 10 times fold. She kicked everybody's ass. She was a mega level mutant. Personality-wise, she was a real deal, strong woman / she loved Scott. She was faithful to Scott. She was tempted by Logan, which, who in the right mind would. But, she stayed loyal even though she teased them and... managed to guide Wolverine to do better and be a better person.
Wolverine's a ladies' man too, man.
Exactly. And then she was cloned, the Madeline Pryor.
Yeah.
Exactly. And, she would be a good mother. She looked out for Cable, and she's just she was a strong person altogether. And my last female runner-up for females would be Storm. She's a goddess.
She's mad powerful.
She's very powerful. She controlled the weather.
Omega level.
She causes the storm. She could cause sun rays. She could do it all. And she's a very strong woman. At one point, she was the queen of Wakanda with the Black Panther.
Yep.
That's how strong you have to be for a character to be like that. So
you want to build a snowman, you give Storm a call.
Give Storm a call.
Snow.
You want a sunny day? You gotta give her a call because otherwise,
she's mad powerful.
T, what about you? What do you think is the powerful?
Well, of course.
Wait. Just so we're hold up. Just so we're on track with the conversation, it's who is your favorite X-Men and why? Not who's the most powerful, who's the coolest.
Oh no, I just broke it down.
Yeah, he just had his like runner-ups.
Gotcha.
Runner-ups. That's all they were. So favorite.
All right,
Continue.
my favorite, of course, James Howlett, aka Wolverine Patch. And that fun fact, he was actually the Death Angel of. He was Death in for Apocalypse.
For Apocalypse,
For the
yes.
Four Horsemen.
The Horsemen.
Ran around with a sword, kicked everybody's butt.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, first appearance 180, last page, and P. Show him your shirt.
First
181,
appearance.
first full
The
appearance.
Incredible Hulk. 181.
Department H. He was in the group. Later, he eventually became a member of the X-Men. You know, everyone knows the
Everybody
story.
knows.
Little plot twist. In the X-Men '95, it was Len Wein wrote it. Dave Cockrum drew it. And a plot twist. Chris Claremont had a uncredited for that book because he actually was the one that said for the island of Krakoa.
Yes.
For Polaris to use their powers to launch Krakoa up in space to get rid of it. And again, Wolverine's badass. I remember back in 1986 going to the store and actually buying the book off of the rack, which was Uncanny X-Men 212. It's like a battle damaged Wolverine, and he's like turning to the side, and it's a beautiful cover by Barry Windsor Smith.
Barry Windsor Smith.
And it's Wolverine's like battle damage with blood, and it says Wolverine versus Sabretooth Round 1. Love this book. Interior art, Rick Leonardi, Chris Claremont wrote it, of course, and Dan Green, inker.
Of course.
Amazing. And believe another fun fact. Speaking of Wolverine versus Sabretooth, every year Sabretooth on Wolverine's birthday, he taunts him and fights him and tries to kill him or just basically tries to beat the hell out of him every year since the Wolverine issue where they battle. Shows Sabretooth
read the cover, by I think that was
Barry
was Alan Davis. No, was it Alan Davis? Rick Leonardi.
We'll get to it.
Well, look into that. We'll do our research on that one.
Where he Sabretooth killed Silver Fox on his birthday.
Yes.
Like I said, Wolverine is the man. And ever since then, from that issue 212 that I picked up off the spinner rack, hooked ever since, man. Hooked ever since. Went out, practically went back, got old issues from the Uncanny X-Men. So again, that's pretty much my man too right there. Wolverine.
Logan. No honorable mentions.
No honorable mentions. It's just Wolverine and the other everybody four else,
including Mystique. Sorry.
All right, gentlemen. So I'd like to move on to our segment 3, which this will actually be our first true spotlight to a creator. Now, even though his time with the X-Men is considered brief by a lot of fans, with, I believe, only contributing 22 or 23 issues to the X-Men as a whole, I'd like you guys to spotlight Jim Lee's work on the X-Men. What's your favorite cover by him? And just give us a little bit of detail on Jim Lee. Pedro, I'm going to let you start this one off.
Well, actually, I'm going to let Tommy.
He's going to hand it off to me.
Pass the ball.
All right. Basically, spotlight on Jim Lee, which is hands down one of my favorite artists. Jim Lee was born in 1964, August 11, and this year he's 59 years old, from South Korea. He started his professional career in 1987, and he did the book Alpha Flight, issue 51. Made a massive, when I tell you massive impact on the X-Men 90s run between Uncanny and this 1991 series. And that 1991 series, we talked about it before with the multiple covers, A through E, the E being the gatefold cover. It was the all-time selling best comic in the Guinness Book of World Records. My favorite cover, of course, is... do you want to talk about favorite covers? Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, my favorite cover is Uncanny X-Men 75. When I saw this book in the store, it blew my mind. It's gatefold, of course. Again, another gatefold. Here we go again, guys. It's X-Men versus Shi'ar. The Shi'ar guards. And amazing. And it has the blue gold costumes. And it's just beautiful. And the return of Professor Xavier. I got 2 runners-up. Was X-Men from the 91 series with the first appearance of Omega Red. I love that cover with Wolverine. It's got Gambit and Jubilee on the side.
Yep.
And then the second runner-up is the number 5, where you see him fight Omega Red. And they're like battle damaged. And Omega Red's on one side, Wolverine, and then you could see the actual encasings where Wolverine has his blades with the claws in his thing.
Yeah.
Blew my mind. It's still embedded in my mind.
They're like wrapped up fighting each other.
Oh my god, I love that. That's my takes. And Pete, what do you got?
Pedro.
Yes.
Real quick, just before we go on any further, your friend Little Redwood from across the pond says hello to everyone. He says he's on a train right now.
Okay.
Oh.
Is it Thomas Tank Engine train?
Avoid Magneto.
Yeah.
He's always attacking trains for some reason.
All right, go ahead. I apologize.
Good to see you. Okay, well, my list is pretty much similar. I start with X-Men #1. It was the #1 book sold in 91. It had multiple covers. I personally have E, which is the full gatefold cover. Got signed too. But anyway, it's just the whole team fighting Magneto. To me, that was iconic. I've seen other artists imitate it, but could never duplicate what Jim Lee did.
Nothing like the real thing.
Exactly. And I love the fact that it was the blue team, the gold team in the background, and they're working together.
Little Redwood ended up responding to the Thomas the Train sly you had over there. He said, "Choo choo, motherfuckers."
That's awesome.
Ask him,
Go Redwood.
does he watch wrestling at all?
We're gonna ask
Ask
Hey,
him.
Little Redwood, do you watch wrestling? If you do, you know what this means. Got 2 words for you.
That was awesome. That was awesome. Represent. All right, back to the list.
Do you want to mention about? Do you want to mention the fact that #1 Terrificon in I forgot where in Connecticut, the Mohegan Sun Tribe. Yep.
This summer for Terrific Con, another good convention to go to. Jim Lee is the guest of honor there, as well as many artists and writers going to be there. But I'm looking forward to meeting him because I have not met him yet. Even though he's doing a signing there and taking pictures and everything, and I'm looking forward to meeting him there. So Jim Lee, watch out for me.
He'll see you soon.
He'll see you soon. Collect that lunch money.
So give me your $2. I want your $2.
I have a mission for you, though. When you meet him, you better mention this podcast and that we loved his work. Otherwise, I'm going to find you.
Sure, I'm going to wear the Comic Convo t-shirt from him. So
Don't ruin this for me!
But seriously, I have one of his books signed, which I'm about to bring up right now. This next cover, Uncanny X-Men 268. It's the cover of Wolverine with Captain America and Black Widow, and it's a past story of when Wolverine first met Captain America and the Black Widow.
Jumps from the past to the future.
I sent that to CGC, and Jim Lee was there to sign it. He signed my book, and he graded it for me. They graded it for me. So I got a book that he signed, but I still haven't met him. So I'm going to meet him in Terrific Guy. I wanted to mention that. But that cover, I sent it in because it was iconic to me.
And that was his first work. That was his regular work on the X-Men, too.
Exactly. So that goes on the list as well.
That first page, man, with Captain America jumping.
Yes!
Versus
Charging right at you with his shield.
versus the hand. Oh, man. Amazing.
Go Jim Lee. Interior and everything. The next on my list is X-Men #8. It was the first time I seen him draw Bishop. He's on the cover with Gambit. I guess they're trying to figure out about the traitor situation of who was the traitor in the future. Yeah. To me, that was iconic on how he drew Bishop. Because in the other books, Uncanny X-Men, Wolf Partaccio was drawing Bishop. Cool, it was awesome.
His version. Yeah.
But I'd never seen Jim Lee's version of it, and it was until I saw that cover. So I thought that was pretty good. X-Men 275, that's the Shi'ar Throne War cover. That was pretty good. Plus, you get to see Wolverine wearing an X-Men outfit. Not like that, not like the brown or the yellow, like these two covers here. We're talking about the blue and gold. Everybody was wearing it in this cover.
Yeah.
Gambit included.
So it shows you that they were a team.
They were a team, and they were unified to take down the Shi'ar, and
that was dope.
It was just awesome. So I put down my list, and I got that signed too. So Chris Claremont, you the man. Then you got Uncanny X-Men 277. I like that cover because it was another good fight. Wolverine versus Gambit.
Oh, yeah.
They were both dressed like that X-Men outfit, but they were colliding. And I thought that was a very good cover.
Gambit had like a spear on one side.
Yeah, and he was about to hit him, and Wolverine just jumping with his claws.
That was dope.
So, and again, Jim Lee just the way he
Nailed
drew them fighting, it looked like yin and yang, but
nailed
they were
it.
still about to nail it.
Nailed it.
And of course, my last one is X-Men 11. I think that's similar to what you're wearing.
Oh, here we go.
And it's
Iconic cover right
it was iconic. Like the team is ready to for anything you want to bring on that cover. And I thought it was going toward the end of his run on X-Men, and I just thought that needs to be honorable mention.
That was
so,
nice.
But Jim Lee, you're the man. Can't wait to see
I liked
you.
the Gambit stuff they did with the Mojo. That was
Yeah, I thought that was
nice.
pretty cool. That was another good cover. The Omega one I enjoyed as well. I like the split face, where it's half Omega
half
Red and half
Wolverine.
Wolverine.
Oh,
that
that
was
was
another
dope.
good one.
That was dope.
And of course, in Uncanny X-Men, the cover with Rogue, Magneto, and Kazar, where Rogue's on the Savage Land.
Oh,
and I guess
with Nick Fury with the gun?
Yes, with the gun.
Yeah.
Yes. And I
Magneto's
guess
in the back?
he was in the back holding Rogue.
Dope.
That's
Savage
what
Land.
explored the relationship between Rogue and Magneto. And she
Savage
was
Land,
able
yeah.
to, yeah, I thought that was a good, iconic cover as well. So
He's
shout out to Jim Lee.
He's like, Rogue, I want to touch.
He got the touch.
Hi, Magneto. Well, he can put a magnetic field around him.
Yeah, that's what protects him, and
Yep.
that's how she got the loving.
Yep. Ain't mad at him.
Too bad, man. Gambit can't do that.
It's all
Otherwise,
good.
he would have
Tell
no
you,
problems.
one night I'd lose my powers. Love you, Rogue. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But if you don't have your power and you touch her, wouldn't you die?
No, she just absorbs your mutant power. You'll be human.
Yeah, but if you're human, you touch her,
That means
You
you
die.
can,
you'll just die.
Go
into a coma like Cody, if you remember Cody.
In the
The ex-boyfriend.
jungle, the mighty jungle.
Boy,
If he's human-
I feel so Disneyfied over here.
If he's human, he can touch.
No, he can't. If he's human,
If he has no mutant powers, which Rogue takes, then he is human.
there's the story.
P, there are
So
X-Men
there's an X-Men story where Rogue's boyfriend Cody does in fact she touches him and he fucking goes on in a coma for quite some time.
All right. On that note, in the X-Men when they fought Master Mold, right? Master Mold beat the hell out of Colossus into the ground. So Rogue went up to him and kissed him.
And
He
absorbed
was
his
fine.
powers.
Took his powers and took it to the Master Mold and beat the hell out of him.
Right.
So he didn't die. He didn't go in a coma or nothing.
No, for mutants it's different. She takes their powers,
Yeah.
leave them weak, not comatose, just weak.
Also, Gambit
So
can
they-
still smash.
Yeah, but if he can smash it, but he does
It's all
risk.
good. It's
But he
all
not
good.
only risks being unconscious, as he touches her for a long time, he could die too.
Dude, if you seen Rogue in the comics, you would take that chance too, brother.
Especially if it was drawn by Jim Lee.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby.
I don't know if I'm comfortable now talking about Jim Lee about this podcast. We're gonna really tell him, hey, we think your Rogue is fuckable. I have no idea. All right, so we're gonna go on. We love your work, Jim Lee. Seriously, thank you for all you do. Everything from X-Men all the way to Batman. You do phenomenal. So that brings us to segment 4, which I know is going to be a very hot button issue for both of you. Top 5 X-Men crossover events. Now, housekeeping rules as normal. No major Marvel events that have affected every book. So, right. So, for instance, no Civil War, but I will allow A versus X. But then again, to counteract, no Secret Wars, no what the fuck is the other one I'm thinking of? More Marvel Zombies, so on and so forth.
Yeah, that's. Yeah.
All right, go
So
ahead.
goes first.
I'll,
You want me
if
to
you
go
want,
first?
I could. Yeah, you got it.
I'll take
Go
it
ahead,
because
man.
I'm a little.
Because you the man. You the man.
All right, so
You the man.
I put it in top 5, right? Okay, so here's what I did. 5, Avengers versus X-Men. I know it's a big crossover event, but like the man said, it has to affect the mutant world. Avengers versus X-Men.
And it did.
It affected the mutant world because it made the X-Men use the Phoenix Saga, and they split the 5 different mutants and try to take the world, and it was up to the Avengers to stop them. So hands down, it affected. It was written by Brian Michael Bendis, Ed Brubaker, Jonathan Hickman, Matt Fraction, Jason Aaron, and Jeff Loeb. Artist was by Ed McGuinness, John Romita Jr., Olivier Coipel, Adam Kubert, Frank Cho. It was a 9-part issue series, limited series, as well as crossed over every book, which I'm not even going to list.
Yep.
but
Too
it
many-
was
too many to
everywhere,
list.
and it pitted X-Men members versus the Avengers members. So to me, that was very exciting at the time it came out. It was the fight everybody wanted to see and still want to see to this day. Maybe they'll make a movie out of it. So
Nice.
going to 4. 4 storyline, and this one affects the X-Men as well. Onslaught. Now this book crossed over everywhere, but it was the genius level of Scott Lobdell, Mark Waid, the Kuberts,
Wade.
Adam and Andy
Andy,
Kubert were the
yeah.
artists, and Pasquale Ferry. It crossed over first majority of the X-Men titles, and then eventually into the Avengers, the Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, all the titles.
That was amazing, man.
And it led to which I'll get to that in a minute. But Onslaught is basically one of the. I'm not going to spoil it. Should I spoil it?
People spoil it, man.
I'll spoil it. If you watch the cartoon, it's seeding for this. The debut of Onslaught is basically what happens if you get Professor X and Magneto. And they become so powerful.
It's the essence of them. Yep.
Took that he betrayed the X-Men. We didn't understand why. It goes to further back to Fatal Attraction, what I'll also get into, and that was the birth of Onslaught.
Just to make sure that everyone's clear, so nobody's missing it, which cartoon?
The X-Men 97.
97.
If you watch it, pay close attention to the battle between the X-Men and Magneto. That will give you the clue what's coming.
The new series, not the older one.
Yes. And Onslaught, it led to Heroes Reborn, where
Yes.
the heroes were basically wiped.
Everybody was gone.
They were transported off our world into another world, and in order to stop Onslaught. That's how powerful Onslaught was. They had to get the X-Men, the Avengers, the Fantastic Four, all the heroes together.
I like that 2-part issue that they did, the one shot,
Yes.
X-Men versus Onslaught, and then
The Marvel Universe.
Marvel Universe versus
There was like a gatefold, and it was a very good story. It was phenomenal. It kept us guessing all the way to the end. And
groundbreaking, man.
It led to other things that the Marvel Universe was never the same at that time.
Yep.
Number 3, I brought this up, Fatal Attractions. I have to read this real quick for you.
First appearance of Blink, I believe.
It was the first appearance of Fatal Attraction. It led to...
No, Phalanx Covenant was Blink.
Yeah,
My
Fatal
bad.
Attraction.
Sorry,
Got
yeah,
confused.
yeah.
No
Sorry,
problem.
My bad.
It was an X Factor 92, X Force 25, Excalibur 71, Uncanny X-Men 304, X-Men 25, and Wolverine 75. Now, I'm not even going to list the creators, and I'll explain why. Fatal Attraction was a crossover event from one issue from every X-Men title.
Yep.
Fatal Attraction is basically Magneto versus the X-Men, and if you, again, watch X-Men 97, it was there.
Yep.
The adamantium situation with Wolverine, how it was pulled out of his body, the hidden birth of Onslaught. Before that, the betrayal of an X-Men member. See if you could get. You want to guess which one?
No,
it was?
no, no.
We're not going to save it for them.
You can save it.
I'll save it. I won't let you read the book.
Yeah.
And it also involved the Excalibur team, the X Factor team, X-Force. X-Force took a crack at Magneto before the X-Men did, and it was a crazy fight.
And
But-
tell them, where can they find that book?
Oh, that story.
The story, what, to Marvel.com?
Marvel.com, Amazon, or
Amazon.
support your local
Comic
comic
store!
store!
Oh, yes!
LCS, baby. LCS.
Every store we're talking about, go to the comic stores, look it up.
LCS,
You
LCS,
rewatch this, get the
LCS,
issue numbers, look it up. I'm telling you, we'll find it. And if you can't find it, keep looking. It's worth it. You have the covers were phenomenal. They even had holograms in the corner of every issue.
Yes.
And it featured, like I said, this ends the best storyline with Wolverine. So keep that in mind. So that's Fatal Attraction.
That was the anniversary issues.
It was some of them were
They're all giant size.
Yeah, like X Force 25 and all that stuff. But I will tell you this, creator wise, Fabian Nicienzo gets huge prop, and Scott Lobdell. Artists were the artists that were working on the titles, the Kuberts, Greg Capullo, John Romita Jr., Joe Quesada, Ken Lashley. They were all nasty together on separate titles, and it was awesome to read. Goes to my number 2. Number 2 was a crossover event, and I'm skating on the line on this, but this really affected the X-Men from the beginning. House of M.
Oh,
If you've heard about the story, you know why the X-Men were involved. It crossed over everywhere, as well as the 8-issue limited series. It was written by Brian Michael Bendis, and Olivia Carpier was the artist. And give a shout to the cover artist, Ribik Assad. Give them shouts. Magneto. It had the Scarlet Witch. the famous 3 words, "No more mutants," it changed the Marvel Universe for 10 years.
Yep.
Like, you didn't see too many X-Men after that. It was, like, that bad. Go ahead, you have a question.
So give them a very brief synopsis of the story. It's okay if you spoil at least something in there, but give them a synopsis of why House of M was so eventful.
I can synapse it like this. If everybody remember WandaVision, if you've ever watched it, the fact how Wanda lost her kids that she created with her powers made her very unstable. And so unstable that she betrayed the Avengers team. And this is why it goes in that direction. Magneto and Xavier both tried to help her and try to bring her back to who she was before. And it became a lost cause. And it made the X-Men, the mutants, more like a terrorist because they were trying to protect her. The Avengers knew that she had to be destroyed because she's so dangerous with her powers. And during the ensuing battle, Magneto gets injured as well as Quicksilver, the brother of Scarlet Witch. And in the end, she gets pissed off at the world and basically utters those words, "No more mutants," and her powers literally wipes out 90% of the mutant population. Like, everybody's X gene was wiped out. So a lot of mutants became humans, lost their powers, and they were miserable after that. It led to a big, many-year storyline to the point that we had to see the side effect of what the mutants were going through. Now they're basically, their whole race is being annihilated just from those words. And it was a pretty good story. So
show you how powerful
she is. So it's scary when you think about WandaVision and Scarlet Witch. You know, she is that powerful. Lucky for us, sometimes, most of the time, she's a good guy, but not always.
I mean, you saw a glimpse of it on the Disney series
WandaVision and the Doctor Strange sequel.
World. Yeah.
So I'm going to lead this off. What could be better than that? And there's only one storyline was better than that, and it challenged every X-Men fan. Age of Apocalypse.
Oh, that was mine.
We touched on it in part 1, so here's the full synopsis. Thank you. Number 1, we agreed on that one.
Nice.
It's basically Legion, the crazy son of Professor X, who, by the way, if you've seen the TV show Legion, thumbs up on that. He wanted to make Xavier proud and decided to go back in time, using one of his mutant powers to go back in time to get rid of Magneto. Because he figures if you get rid of Magneto and all the debates of peaceful coexistence versus mutant supremacy, if you get rid of that person, you have a better chance for your dream to come true. And some X-Men went to follow him to stop him because you don't play with time. Well, apparently he did. And in trying to kill Magneto, he accidentally killed his father.
Killed Professor Xavier. One of my all-time favorite covers. It has Magneto holding Professor Xavier and he's all bloody. And it has like Magneto in a suit. It doesn't have him as a human.
It was just crazy.
That book shook me, man. I was shook.
It was crazy because
Andy Cooper, Adam Cooper? Andy.
It was drawn by the Cooper. I think it was Andy.
Andy.
It could be Adam too, because he was also on an X-Men book as well. But what made it crazy is, if you've seen Avengers Endgame, Back to the Future, Hot Tub Time Machine, the whole timeline thing. I mean, it could be a big debate now as to whether time could actually change like this. But this came out in '94. Yep. Back in the days, there was only one time machine thing, and that was Back to the Future. So the idea that he went back in time, changed the time, and it skewed into a new timeline. It made the storyline. It made sense at that time.
And wasn't that the Legion Quest story?
That was the Legion Quest story. But it caused Xavier's death. Magneto ending up carrying the dream. And without Xavier's X-Men, it didn't stop Apocalypse in the present.
He came 10 years earlier.
He took over the world.
Yep. Couldn't stop him.
And the only person that could stop Apocalypse was the mutant, the X-Men, Magneto's X-Men. Meanwhile, humans were on the run. They were practically wiped out in the United States. It was the best storyline. All the X-Men titles were canceled and relaunched with an X-Men name.
To piggyback off of that, they relaunched 8 main titles: Amazing X-Men, Excalibur, Generation X, Astonishing X-Men, Gambit and Externals, Factor X, I believe.
And Weapon X.
And Weapon X, yes. With Wolverine, correct.
And they were all 4 limited. It's not like the Almagon series. They canceled all the books. They launched these books.
Everything.
And for 4 months, it was still going. Once the 4th issue came out, they all stopped and everything reverted back to the normal series. But during that time, You had Wolverine with one hand because Cyclops blasted it off.
Wolverine cut Cyclops and took one of his eyes and he blasted because Cyclops was working
for Sinister.
Apocalypse.
Apocalypse Sinister. Sinister was one of his horsemen at the time.
Yes.
Nate Gray, who's we know as Nate Summers, who was Cable. In this world, he ended up without the virus, the
legacy virus.
The legacy virus.
Correct.
So he ended up more powerful as a telekinetic and telepathic.
Such a great story.
And he ended up in our world after Age of Apocalypse was finished. Apocalypse was like the big man. He had his 4 horsemen running the whole United States. It was Sinister, Candyman, and there was 2 others. That slips my mind right now. But
I believe Apocalypse was still Pharaoh of Egypt and
yes.
the world. Yes. That was essentially.
And all the humans, the Avengers, they were not around no more. They were all destroyed because of Apocalypse. Yeah. And
he's a beast.
It just that world. You touched on it, and it was awesome. How it ended at the what do you call it? The X-Men Alpha Omega. Which that's where it ended. It started in Alpha and it ends in Omega.
Yeah, so like one part and it came with chromium covers because back in the 90s that was a big thing.
That was a big thing.
Covers.
Gimmick
Jesus
covers.
Christ.
It was good though. I loved
them. I brought them all. I'm not mad.
They had to go back in time to fix what was done. And they did save Xavier in the end and everything was fixed back. But some people like Bishop, Nate Gray, who ends up stuck in our world, Candyman as well, they knew that it happened where everybody else forgot.
Hydrate, kids.
Hydrate!
You can thank Fang of Wolf for that one.
Yep.
Oh, AP, what are we drinking today?
We're having some Dubbies.
Dubby.
And what's the promo code?
That's our sponsor, Dubby. It's made with 10 ingredients, made from coffee bean extract. It has all types of flavor. Mine's a pineapple strawberry. Gotta love that flavor. They have 0 sugar. All the energy drinks. Go to dubby.gg. Use the promo code. The promo code PEVGamer, all caps, by the way.
All PEV, baby.
And for 10% off the entire order. And we're talking about, we can get the starter pack. Go for the big tubs, man. I'm telling you, it is really good.
Yeah,
let me get my thirst out.
Take a bath in some Dubby, you'll be okay.
My mouth wide open.
Don't bring your buddy when you're bathing in some Dubby.
You gotta do that alone.
Dude,
We wouldn't recommend that.
Heavy pause. Pausing on that Dubby.
No. Drink your Dubby.
Get your dub.
Get your dub on.
All right,
back to work.
Back to work.
Got that energy. I'm telling you. It kicks in.
It's Dubby. It's keeping them going.
It's a Dubby. Gotta keep me going. So what's your top 5?
All right, P, since you took my number 1, which was Age of Apocalypse,
I took it.
and you talked all about it, I'll do
but we know that's your number 1.
Yeah, that's my number 1, so I'm going to count down from...
1 down to 5. There you go.
Yeah. Number 1, Extinction Agenda.
Oh.
It involved the X-Men, the New Mutants, and X-Factor, and the target... Basically, they were target for extinction. It ran through the books. Here we go. Extinction Agenda. Uncanny X-Men 270 to 272. New Mutants 95 through 97. X-Factor 60 to 62. Jim Lee nailed it. They fought Jim Lee. I knew
he was the artist. He was one of the 3 artists that hit it. It was Jim Lee, Rob Liefeld, and Gwen Yap, and John Buganova.
Nailed it, man. Loved it. Loved it from the beginning to the end. Of course, it showed the X-Men trapped in Genosha. Storm is little. She ends up coming back, getting her full powers. It was great. One of the parts of the story that really, really got me was there was a mutant from Genosha. His name was Wipeout. He would touch you and temporarily take your powers.
Oh, yeah.
So all the X-Men, there's this beautiful scene, I believe it's on 262, where it has all the X-Men and New Mutants in this one panel. And Wolverine is tied up. He's chained to the back. And he's like, you bastards took my mutant powers and stuff, but I still have my adamantium skin. I mean, bones. Mm-hmm. So he's jumping around, knocking people out with his head, kicking them and stuff, and then he eventually tases them.
They take them down. Yeah.
But one of my favorite stories.
It was also the first time you got to see the X-Men reunite, because just prior to that, they were all in separate, it was all separate in different locations. And it was the first time they worked together, they got together.
And they actually had them battle each other. Remember they had the fight with Archangel versus Wolverine?
I know, that was crazy.
On their necks and they were fighting. Again, Wolverine didn't have his healing factor.
And it also brought together X-Factor and New Mutants together. It was like the first time you saw them all together since Inferno. It was another storyline.
That was great.
But it ended very well, and Cameron Hodge was another version of racism towards mutants as well as machineries like the Sentinels. So, it was a really good storyline.
Great storyline. And my number 2 is Executioner Song.
Oh,
the X-Men story is so big it took 4 books to contain it. When Cyclops, Phoenix are kidnapped, and Cable seemingly assassinates Professor Xavier, X-Men, X-Factor, X-Force go to war with each other. Those books actually ran through Uncanny X-Men 294 to 296, X-Factor 84 to 86, X-Force 16 through 18, I believe. Again, great storyline, great work. A lot of Brandon Peterson, I believe, on the X-Men. And then it showed, I believe, in X-Factor, Jay Lee. Remember Jay Lee?
That's another
And all
one.
these bags were polybagged with a card in them.
Yes.
Similar to the X-Force number 1.
X-Force number 1. Similar, but it ran through a lot of books.
Great storyline. Not going to spoil it for you. You kind of got to read it. It's basically Strife versus Cable.
And they tried to do a switcheroo to frame Cable. They thought he killed Xavier.
But it was a great storyline. Of course, it all made sense.
It put X-Force on edge with the X-Men. The relationship was strained after that for a while. So
and that was the big mutant event, because pretty much every year
X-Men had to do
a big event.
They were the big book at the time.
All right, and number 3, speaking of Inferno, Pete.
Yes.
Inferno's my next one.
Oh, wow. Inferno.
The match is struck as the crazy, psychotic, actually genius, Mr. Sinister, and a demon named, what's his name, Pete?
Nastor.
Yeah. Set their respective master plan in motion, both centered around the woman Madeline Pryor, which was the
clone of Jean Grey. Yes.
What was her name? Alternate? Goblin?
The Goblin Queen.
Goblin Queen. Wife of Scott Summers and X-Men called Cyclops.
And the mother of Cable.
Amazing. I'll just touch briefly on it. Mark Silvestri.
Oh.
Nailed it. Forgot about Mark Silvestri, a great artist.
Big time.
Dan Green, Chris Claremont, of course. These books all ran through Uncanny X-Men 239 to 41. X-Force X-Factor 35 to 37. X-Terminators, the series 2, 3, and 4. New Mutants 71 through 73. Great. I can't tell you how great this storyline. It actually shook Marvel for a while. Basically, hell and demons came, and I remember there was one scene.
They were attacking New York,
where was it a mailbox attacked Daredevil?
Yeah,
the mailbox came alive, and there was an elevator that there was a worker they showed him that Mark Silvestri drew. He was cleaning or whatever, and an elevator actually came and ate him. He was listening to a Walkman.
It possessed items and
stuff.
Machinery and stuff,
cars. It was crazy when I tell you. Oh, and it had a beautiful Mark Silvestri cover. I believe it was, let me see, make sure. I think it was 240. It was a giant size, and it shows the X-Men, and it has the Marauders on the cover. Sick ass cover. And this is a giant sized book, Mark Silvestri. Love this.
I like the cover with Walt Simonson.
That's my all-time favorite cover.
All the X teams were together. X Factor and the X-Men were trying to team up, and they were about to attack the demons and
Storm
the
with
Goblin
like
Queen.
a big hairdo.
Yeah.
And it shows Wolverine. He's like possessed with a demon. And his mask is all bugged out. It shows Bees, Cyclops, all of them. The whole team.
They were all
Havoc's in the back. Love this cover, and I actually got it autographed by Walt Simonson when I saw him.
I'm trying to get that.
Terrificon. Make sure you go to Terrificon.
He'll be there too.
He'll be there, and his wife, Lewis
Simonson, who wrote the story too.
Yep. And my number, I want to say 4 because
we lost track of time.
Or 3
number.
Number 3 is Mutant Massacre.
Mutant Massacre.
The Morlocks, a community of mutant outcasts living beneath the streets of Manhattan. The Marauders, professional mutants. I love the Marauders. Scalp Hunter, was it Vertigo? Sabretooth. Oh my God, Sabretooth. Basically, they go to the sewers and they try to kill as many Morlocks as they can. Marvel's most heroic X-Men, X-Factor, New Mutants, Power Pack, and then even actually ran through an issue of Daredevil, which had, I believe, Sabretooth versus Daredevil, I believe. And through the Mighty Thor. The Marauders overwhelmingly onslaught.
It was a slaughter.
Yeah, it was really bad.
It was the first time the villain mutants killed innocent bystanders,
Harpoon
they
was
had to
like
show
good,
it.
too.
It had to show it through the we call it the tunnels and everything like that. You saw what all the mutant Morlocks that died, like their blood, guts all over the wall. It was just sad.
And not only that, Archangel was born from here. There's this beautiful cover where they show Angel and his wings are pinned up and their harpoon actually
was
threw
crucified.
two harpoons through his wings, and he's like up on the thing. And then eventually
He came back.
Apocalypse grabs a hold of him, turns him to death, and makes him one of the horsemen.
But this was a storyline where he literally loses, the
His
wings and everything.
He
It was
gets them
so
cut
bloody. You actually read the story, and you actually could feel bad for the Morlocks because they were trying to live separate from society. They were underground. They were very happy. They didn't have much. It's just sad that they had to be slaughtered, and the person that was behind the attack with the Marauders was Mr. Sinister.
Yes.
So
he was the genius behind it.
He was the genius behind it, and there also was a rumor. Well, it was a rumor. Gambit knew about it before he joined the X-Men, and he didn't do anything about it to give them a heads up, and it was a very very big event.
It was huge. Like I said, it ran through even the Daredevil and the Thor book. It was really really good. I really enjoyed it.
I'm gonna throw quick honorable mentions, but
right.
but I'm not gonna what issue. You have to look this up yourself. I enjoyed the Messiah Complex because it was the Hope Summer, the daughter of Cable.
About that a lot yesterday. Yeah.
That was a very good storyline. Look it up. It crossed over a lot of the X-Men titles. At one point, Bishop was chasing Hope as well, so just keep that in mind. There was Magneto War, and that I thought was going to be an X-Men 97 where Magneto uses powers against the axis of the Earth. That happened in the book in that storyline called Magneto War. It also dealt with his clone Joseph, who was a member of the X-Men at the time, and they settled the whole thing with Joseph. But he was a very good character that grew on me over the years before he his passing. But it was a very good storyline. Again, look for it. It's under the X-Men Uncanny series. And of course, the final one would be Second Coming, which is basically when Hope came back and was still on the run from Bishop, as well as running into all the other villains. It was a very good storyline. Really nice storyline. So all these together, it was a blur of a good storyline. And by the way, Second Coming Messiah Complex, what made it special was this was still during the time where the Scarlet Witch rule in House of M was still in effect. She was actually the first mutant born since that happened, and no one could understand how that happened. So just keep that in mind about Hope Summers when you hear about it. Why it made her special.
Yep.
So there you go.
That was awesome, dude.
All right, gentlemen. So we are running low on time. We about maybe a little less than 10 minutes. So I'm going to combine the last two segments and ask you guys to keep it pretty brief. But segment 5 is, what is the most impactful death in the X-Men comics? This excludes any X-Men deaths that happen outside of an X-Men launched comic series. So no mutant deaths in Avengers, no mutant deaths in Guardians of the Galaxy, and so on and so forth. I'm sure you guys understand that. And then follow up your answer with what you guys want to see next out of the X-Men book series or media in general. Tommy, you can start this one off.
All right, here we go, guys. My most impactful to me was the Wolverine in the miniseries Death of Wolverine. He was infected with a microverse, I believe, virus that disabled his mutant healing factor. So the adamantium eventually hardened him, and he eventually died. So that really touched me back in 2014. Couple honorable mentions. Nightcrawler, I know you said outside the X-Men titles, but these are just honorable mentions. Nightcrawler, who died in Second Coming. He was impaled in the chest. He tried to say... Bastion was trying to kill Nightcrawler. He tried to extend his hand, so Nightcrawler bamfed in front of Hope, and got impaled, and he died. Yes. That was really touching. In 2017, Colossus, he was infected with the Legacy virus in issue 303, which you end up using his blood to...
That's the cover where he's holding the syringe because he had the cure.
That was very impactful to me.
But it killed him in order for that cure to happen.
To save his sister.
Yes, Liana, when she had the virus.
And then number 4, 2012, Professor Xavier, Avengers versus X-Men number 11. The Phoenix Force, Cyclops got possessed by the Phoenix Force and melted or disintegrated
Spoiler alert.
Who did he disintegrate, P?
Professor
Xavier.
Xavier, yeah.
And number 3 of 5, my honorable mention, of course, Dark Phoenix Saga when Jean
dies.
Ends up getting killed.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Yeah, we're not all spoilers.
Go watch the other episode. We talk about it. What's next for the X-Men? The 3 new titles, or the 3 main new titles that are out. X-Men written by Jed McCrae and Ryan Stegman. Krakoa no more. But the X-Men fight on their new base in Alaska. The group: Cyclops, Beast, Magneto, Cyclops, Kid Omega, Tempest, Magic, and Juggernaut. Uncanny X-Men, written by Gil Simon and Dave Marquis. Outlaws, Heroes, once again. New base in the Big Easy. Still protecting the world from the mutants that hate them. The team consists of Rogue, Gambit, Nightcrawler, Jubilee, and Wolverine. I really like that group, of course, because it's got Wolverine on it. And then the last group is Exceptional X-Men. Mutants, 2 of the greatest teachers. You got Kitty Pryde and you have Emma Frost. Written by, E.L. Ewing and Carmen Connors?
Connors.
So that's pretty much what's going on next. What I'd like to see, just some more X-Men. Just give me some more X-Men. Give me some good art. Give me some good stories, and I'd be happy with that. I mean, I like how everything's going. I mean, Krakoa. How long they been on the Krakoa story?
2 or 3 years.
3 years, yeah. And I like to see something new. Of course, you got your new writers coming in, your new artists coming in, and they're gonna have their little 2 cents in there. But like I said, I'm really looking forward to see what's going on.
Who's drawing the new Ultimate X-Men?
Ultimate X-Men. It's a new series. Peach Monaco. Excuse the name pronunciation of it. It's Peach Monaco.
Okay.
The manga artist. She's pretty good. She got her own style. It's pretty interesting.
All right, Pete.
All right. Now the impactful death. I agree with you. With the classic Xavier. I also would throw Thunderbird because he was one of the first X-Men members. The second version that died. It was pretty impactful. But due to the fact we just touched on Krakoa.
Yeah.
That storyline brought back a lot of dead mutants back to life. So all those impactful death was not too impactful because now it kind of erased it. Yeah. No disrespect to what was done.
It's like a clean state.
So I refuse to make that list. So I'm going to go with a list of impactful death that has not been changed. Real quick, Joseph. He never came back. Let's keep that in mind. He was in the storyline Magneto where we touched upon. He never came back. His death saved the Earth. And he also, he battled Magneto. It was a cold battle. But he did die. He never came back. But it would have been like, what if Magneto was still a hero? Blink, she did come back. But, it's not the same. She died again, and they didn't bring her back or whatever. But she was a very cool character. Had cool powers and everything. She was pink and everything. They used her very well during the Exile storyline, but mind you, it's an alternate universe Blink. Just keep that in mind. So I will put her on the list. And then the number 1 impactful death, and tell me no one thought of this, Magneto's parents. First of all, they never came back. They died in the concentration camps. It's the reason Magneto is what he is today. And there was no way to bring him back for him to be happy. So technically, their death is what made Magneto who he is, and that's what impacts the whole Marvel universe in general.
Question for you: did they ever do a what if story of like if Magneto's parents lived, or if Magneto became a good guy?
I don't think they did.
No.
I don't think
That'd be
they
a great
did.
idea.
It would be a good what if
That'd be a
story,
really
Marvel.
good idea.
And if there is, please someone look it up for me and
Instead
get back.
of Legion going back trying to kill Magneto, have him go back and rescue his
parents, and then see what happens. Maybe he helps Xavier become an X-Men. Who knows?
Yeah.
And for what's next, okay, I have a list, but I will touch it. I'm curious to look past Krakoa because
heavy paws on the
touching. On the
touching, man.
But the Krakoa storyline is
mine.
ending,
Get your
and
own
the new X-Men
She's
world.
Mine. No touching, okay?
No touching. I will.
No swiper, no swiping.
Swiping, no swiping. I'm
Swipe
dying
on
to see.
that ass.
Oh, anyway. I'm curious to see what happens after Krakoa is gone. The whole storyline with Krakoa is over.
Yeah,
the X-Men get coming back. It's gonna be exciting. I'm dying to see what it is. And for the cartoon, for season 2 and beyond, I think they need to bring back his name, Bioa DeMaio. He was the director, producer, the guy who put the first season together. They fired him when they premiered it.
Yeah.
Bring him back, Marvel. Disney Plus, you need him. He
you
knows
see
what he's doing.
You see what he's doing, right?
He's doing it on point.
He's
we
doing it.
love the
Heavy
book.
pause.
Now,
Heavy pause.
really,
He's doing it.
He may have laid the groundwork for the second season, and that's okay.
Man, pause on
but
the
beyond
later
that,
time.
it's gonna be like, what the heck? You're gonna see the difference. If I were you, get him back.
Yeah, you need him.
I don't know what the controversial why they fired him,
Pay him what he needs.
but we
bring
do
him back.
need him. He knows his
Bring him
stuff.
back.
And part one, I was instructed about a mistake I made. Give a shout out to this artist as well, Brent Anderson. He was the artist on Chris Claremont's God Love Man Kill. I accidentally said Bill Anderson. My bad. No one corrected me, but I'm being the who's gonna own
We're
it.
shooting this live.
Brent, artwork was fantastic.
Shooting it live. All right, P.
And I go.
PM Pete. I'm just gonna touch briefly on the top 10 hot list. And P, every time I point at you, say thank you, X-Men '97 cartoon.
You got it.
Number 10, you're looking at X-Men '97, the second print of X-Men '97. It has a cover with Rogue and Gambit kissing.
Thank you, X-Men '97.
I just want to put it out there.
Yes, sir.
Even though I hate Fortnite as a game, when they did the Valentine's Day special shop item, I did actually get both Rogue and Gambit, and that issue cover was the background they came with.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
That's dope.
That is dope. I like that.
Number 9, you got Lost in Space, annual number 1 from 1992. It's a Hot Joe Jusko cover, and it has these two hot chicks in like shackles, a bondage cover. It's very, very hot due to this documentary that came out recently about Stephen Rood.
Steve Rood, yes.
And so everybody's trying to go back to get their people's earlier work. And this artist, Joe Jusko, is amazing. He did the Marvel Masterpiece series. First
And guess what? He'll be at Terrificon.
He was there last year.
Yeah.
X Factor number 8 is X Factor '92, first appearance of Exodus. That's the one with the hologram with Havoc on it.
Yes.
Drawn by Joe Quesada because it's hot and at the end of.
Thank you, X-Men
Thank you, X-Men
97. He was in there.
Shot of Exodus on it. Number 7, you got new X-Men 133, first appearance of Dust, of course.
Also was in X-Men 97 and Wolverine and X-Men.
And thank you to who? Thank you, X-Men 97.
I just said that.
Thanks for you.
And thank you, Grant Morrison, for creating.
And number 6, you got Cable number 6 from 1993. It has this beautiful cover of Mr. Sinister choking Domino and Cable. It has the first cameo appearance of, I believe her name is Akomi, the mother. It's Phoenix in the future that was in also.
The Ascani. Yes.
Ascani,
Rachel
yes.
Summers.
Thank you, X-Men
97.
Number 5, you got Rise of Apocalypse, 1996, the origin of the villain.
Apocalypse. Thank you, X-Men 97.
I'm telling you,
We're
man.
looking forward to season 2.
Number 4, you got West Coast Avengers, number 45 from 1989. It's the White Vision because they actually announced that he's going to do a solo Vision series on Disney Plus.
Thank you, WandaVision.
Number 3, you got Sensational She-Hulk 2. It's the first appearance of a character. I don't really know the name of it, but Grant Summers. But they're saying that Taylor Swift might play this character as opposed to playing Dazzler.
Oh, I hope not.
It's just
she's,
a rumor.
She's Dazzler.
It's just a rumor. I hope she's Dazzler.
Make her Dazzler.
And I hope I want to make Dazzler mine. Number 2,
Wow.
Doom number 1 came out recently, 2024. It has it has Doomsday like this. He's on the cover. Beautiful cover. Well, anyway, in that story, pays homage to a rapper who recently passed away, MF Doom.
MF Doom.
MF Doom.
MF Doom passed away?
A few years back, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
he passed away, so he used to actually rap and he used to have like a mask similar to Doom. But this book pays homage and it's going for like $45 and it just recently came out. The number 1 hot book of the week is X Factor number 6, the first full appearance of Apocalypse.
Thank you, X-Men 97.
Thank you, X-Men 97, and that's what we got, and that book is on fire. Thank you, Mr. Apocalypse.
Yes.
And I think that's pretty much what we got for the top 10 books that are hot. You kind of want to get them before they're hot, but if you got them and if you have them,
Don't
hang on to
separate.
them. Wait till they hit the pick, and if you want some.
X going to give it to you.
Yeah. We want to say thank you again, guys.
Thank you
for joining us.
Thank you for being part of the 2 parts.
Follow, subscribe. Got any comments to the bottom?
And follow us on YouTube.
Follow Pev Gamer. AP, who's our sponsor?
Our sponsor is Dubby.
Energy drink.
Energy drink.
No sugar. Made from extract from coffee.
And don't forget
a variety of flavors. Yes.
And don't forget, we have our Patreons with Peter
support the channel
to detail on it.
Baby need new shoes. Baby need new shoes.
Baby
support
got
the,
that.
support the channel.
Support us. We
support
love
the
you.
Channel.
I'll take it over from here, guys. Thank you very much. So, we have 2 major announcements today. Over on streamlabs.com/pevgamer/merch, we have the first Comic Convo Express merchandise out. We have 1 black coffee mug, and 1 t-shirt for the Comic Convo Express. It's got everything you would need into it, and definitely check out our Patreon. We'll have a link down in the video description. Basically, what that will do for you is for a couple bucks a month, you will get all extras, all access behind the scenes of how we do the show. Some special videos. We have a couple out with Pedro doing some stupid shit.
There you go.
The higher tiers actually allow for you to see the edited version of our show a week before it's uploaded to YouTube, alongside being able to suggest subjects for the next season. So you guys will literally help us write the show. So we thank you for that support, and we ask you check that out. But make sure you like, comment, and subscribe over on youtube.com/Comic Convo Express. All right, everyone. See you later.
Thank you. God bless.
You.
Take care.